Welcome back, you cosmic seekers. How you guys doing? This is another tarot deep dive. This time we are looking at the Hierophant, one and only. Yeah, this is about life lessons. It could be a tough life lesson, actually, but when it's in reverse, let's be fair. It's that block spiritual wisdom, and all of these cards in reverse, it's about a blockage, about something holding you back. That's what we need to hammer into you. That's what we're trying to get in. The expectations are there. It's just something's holding you back. We're gonna get in here. We're gonna dig into all the symbolism. We're gonna look at that wisdom that hides in these cards, I promise you. But I'm going through the reversals. If you haven't seen the uprights, do yourselves a huge favor. Take some time, look at the uprights, and then come back. It's gonna do yourselves a world of good, I promise you. But what we're looking at here is the reversed Hierophant. It's a card that really speaks about rebellion against tradition, the disconnection. It's that whatever this is, it's you trying to figure out what it is you're trying to do. We have the pillars on either side. We're going to look at all this, but it's you're breaking free from something. The blockages could be in you, from somebody else, but we're getting into that disruption. We're going to figure out what this path is, or what the authenticity is that you're trying to find. A lot of you know what this is. You felt this rebellion, teenage years, disconnection, the angst. That's what this card really could represent to you. It's that authority in life. It's belief in your own existence. But what it does is that spiritual mentorship that comes in is from the upright side of this. And then when you flip it, it's those energies are all disrupted. It's that well, I'm disconnected. I need to figure out who I am. Rejecting the certain traditional values, like you have to be married, you have to have kids. It could be against that. It really could be. You're feeling disconnected from your spiritual teacher, the belief system that you've been growing up with. It's this. Because the keys are here and not at your feet. They're at your head, and we're logically thinking about what this is. But I'll go into this. I'll dig. I'll let you see what I see, because the crowns and the rejection of authority here is part of the process. Because the Hierophant wears a triple crown. I don't know if you can see it here, but you should be able to pick up on it in the camera. The spiritual realm, the connection to the divine, the worldly wisdom, the crown's made to appear distorted when we're in reverse and when we're picking this up. But it's a rejection of authority, spiritual structures. It's certainly questioning everything. But when it's in reverse, it's letting you know that you're no longer aligned to your true self. You can actually see here with the purity of this alignment right here. We're breaking free from that. You can actually see here in the robe itself. But you have a limited belief in whatever this is, and you want a more authentic self of spirituality. Cool, right? And as we get into the keys, we get into that. We're trying to connect to the doors, but you're feeling locked out. The keys are a little bit more out of reach, as they used to be right at your feet. So in the reverse position, the care that you have for yourself, or I'd say almost like self-care, what I'm getting. It's like the reverse Hierophant says, we're trying to get into that place of where you're caring about yourself again. The Hierophant's trying to get you to recognize who you are, self-discovery, independent learning, and then we're trying to grow from that. Because you're locked out, you're not having any access to that. And as I said, the keys are they're out of reach. So we can't use that, and it's feeling locked out into the traditional systems. The disconnected family members don't recognize you. Go back to the way you were. No, that's not happening. So when you're inaccessible to your family, or maybe feeling like you're not valued, what do we do when this card's in reverse? We're looking at what we have in our own hands. What do we have we can do? And we look at that here and here. So let's keep going. Maybe it's a disconnection from traditional wisdom for you. That could also be. Because when you have established teachings or traditional teachings, like you think about when you're little and you're like, let's go to church, let's do this. We're being taught to do things in a certain place, a manner, and that's when it's out of reach. You might reach a certain period of life when you're connecting to the other side or rejecting teachings that you've been giving, like, oh, read the Bible or read this or whatever it is. But whatever it is, you've been reading this in a place where others have been reading it and then saying, yes, you're right. But you're only reading what others have told you to read instead of finding what you want from the inside. The reverse Hierophant encourages you to explore the alternative philosophies within you, the inner wisdom, the spiritual practice that aligns with your unique journey, your path. And that's what's different, because you have the disciples on either side here breaking away from the group. In many depictions, you get the Hierophant that they show groups of disciples following this Hierophant. I will listen, I will follow, grab the Bible, let us listen. And no disrespect to anyone that follows the Bible, but in this card in the reverse, it's saying they're breaking free from that, putting their text down and finding the spiritual wisdom from within. It might seem like they're disconnected or isolating from the Hierophant, and they're trying to find their own teachings from themselves. That moment of being quiet, sitting by the lake, the river, looking out at the water, watching the ducks or the animals play. That moment. They're no longer conforming to a pattern of particular belief system or group, but instead of seeking their own answers from a tradition that's outside the belief patterns that we're following. And that's what this is. When the reverse Hierophant comes in, it's calling you to trust you, trust yourself. Maybe look for your own spiritual mentors, things that make you feel that you're lighting up. It could be unconventional even, really. The astrological connection here is the reverse Hierophant is getting you going. It connects to the Taurus energy. That in itself is a life lesson. So whenever you see Taurus energy, King of Pentacles even, when you get the life lesson, you get Taurus energy, they all connect. They're all connected to Venus. It's very happy, warms the heart. But don't look at this as a negative. It's really breaking free from the over rigid, stable, traditional ties that we have. Maybe we're resistant to change. We focus too much on the material world. Maybe at the expense of that spiritual growth, we could be coming through. But the Hierophant asks you to reflect on whether you have been holding on too tightly or letting go. And that's why when these cards come in reverse, you have to really look at them in a different way. So do yourselves a favor. Like I said, I invite you to look at the uprights, because it's going to teach you a little bit of a different story, because these pillars represent structure, stability, the keys to unlock, right? And now it's different when we get the reversals. Don't just say, well, I'll just learn the uprights and just say opposite. No, because the number here, the number 5, which in upright represents change, adaptability, freedom. And that's why I use the number 5 for the 5 of Wands as either fighting or a soul tribe. But when reversed in this card here, it represents the blockages. They're creating resistance, right? And we're changing. It's the inability to break free or establish structures. Like I said, when you're a teenager, when you're getting into your, I would say, informative years, right? That's what it is. You know what I'm talking about. When you found yourself finally, it's the same thing, but in spirituality, breaking free from the confinement, restrictedness. When you found your own music taste, right? That spiritual autonomy is there. It's you figuring out who you are, but it's the universe saying that it's time for you to begin your own spiritual path now. In mystical teachings, it tells us that we're looking for the importance of your individual sovereignty and that spiritual growth. The Hierophant it's really linked to the divine, the wisdom of the divine, even though it looks like this. Even though it looks bad, it's in reverse, saying, no, it's you and the divine. There's nobody else in between. They're locked out. Reality is they're locked out. You're connected because you're going inner. The disconnection is from the wisdom they can't see, and they're wondering what's going on with you. Think about it, right? That's truth. The personal authority that you seek is from your own enlightenment. They can't help you. That consciousness is the only reality, right? That you're creating from your spiritual truths. The Hierophant is reversed because it's aligning to your philosophy, asking you to turn inward and trust your own spiritual insight rather than relying solely on your external authority. And Reiki, I would look at this, I would maybe even offer you, say, hey, let's Seihiki, let's do the Reiki symbol Seihiki and get into that emotional energy. Let's clear past the blockages and get you connecting to that inner self, the inner child even. But those old teachings, the attachments, the people saying we have to do this is how our culture has always done it. It's really tough because I'd say removing or releasing that emotional stagnation, it opens you up to a whole new world of new sources of spiritual nourishment. So if I was doing myself Reiki and I was practicing, and I would just maybe do a little bit of Seihei Ki to open up those emotional blockages, then I would absolutely do the 528 frequency. Focus on the transformation, the healing, maybe even some miracles. Get that breakthrough. Because that's what it's going to feel like when you get through to yourself, to the inner self, and that new path is established to the spiritual enlightenment, and then you have it. Triple Crown then becomes a very amazing ally to you. It's not a burden anymore. So what you have is I would say, even they say what heavy is the head that wears the crown, right? But what it becomes is it leads you towards greater freedom and understanding, because then you say, that's why I've been doing this. That's why that makes sense. And how does the reverse Hierophant guide you in your life? Are you finding your own spiritual path? Are you trusting yourself? Are you following traditions or rules or external expectations because others expect you to? Or are you questioning spiritual path or resisting conformity in some way because you want this to happen? If you pull this for yourself or someone else, ask them. It's calling you to embrace your own beliefs. It's saying find your own unique way to connect to the divine. It's inviting you to release the outdated systems that no longer serve you. What's the blockage? What's the blockage? Feeling spiritually stifled is really tough. That's a really tough thing to follow through. But when you have this rigid system that's breaking you and holding you and locking you down, it's time to explore that new spiritual practice, the philosophy. At least if you're testing it out to see if it's for you. But when I see this card, it's the importance of that spiritual autonomy. Be yourself. Be yourself. Let the inner wisdom say what it wants to say. Trust your intuition. Your role as a spiritual seeker, and even as a teacher, is there. It's guiding your journey. You're going into it. So you're trusting finally your own spiritual wisdom, and you're breaking free. Reconnect to that inner authority. You came here as a soul. You're going to go out as a soul. Question the rules. Really, it's okay. Let go of those outdated teachings and beliefs and those perspectives that don't even fit you. Don't be afraid to reject that doesn't resonate with your soul and serve you, but trust in that spiritual journey. Because when you're doing this, you're giving yourself a chance to be not only your own teacher, but a guide. And when you find that liberation in questioning everything, that's when your inner wisdom lights up and says, yes, let us answer. It's so good. Reconnecting to the divine in your own way is a spiritual freedom that comes from trusting yourself, reevaluating, seeking teachers that inspire you to go within. What I really like is you finding this, embracing the flow of your own understanding or letting go of dogma. But it's that spiritual transformation that you're embracing, the redefining yourself, embracing your own spiritual confidence or independence. But what it's doing in reality is it's reminding you to break free. It's reminding you to trust your own spiritual path of enlightenment. It's the time to question authority, but resonating with your soul, trusting that with you. As always, if this message has resonated with you, please do not forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. As I always say, guys, make sure you hit that notification bell to all, because what it's going to do is it's going to let you know I am going live. I go live at very random times, but I am always live for subscribers and above. Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. But if you are a member, make sure you hit that notification bell to all, because I go live at very random times. And be sure to hit the notification bell, because I post content at all times. So do me a favor, let me know you guys are interested in more content, and if you've enjoyed this, as always, as you should do for all other content creators, hit that like button. Let them know it's super easy. Don't hold back. Give them a thumbs up. It doesn't do anything for you. It literally just, you're clicking a button. So I teach you this. Let them know you like it. Do me a favor, do them a favor, just hit the thumbs up. Get into that habit. I like this. I like this. And better yet, if you like the content, subscribe. Let them know you want to see more. Because when you subscribe, it lets them know you're very much interested in what they're doing. And it pushes them to do more and more. And I hope to see you guys become content creators someday. All right, guys. I hope to see you on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Better yet, I hope to see you guys as members and joining that Cosmic Collective membership. See you soon. You guys be safe. Peace.